Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Today we are going to be making chicharrones, a favorite in the Hispanic culture. It's kind of like pork rinds, but definitely not like the ones that you buy in a bag at the store. This is an easy recipe to make and one that I am sure you will enjoy. Alright ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. So as you can see here, we have some really nice cuts of pork belly. And really we're only going to need 4 ingredients for this recipe. The first one is going to be some naranja agria or bitter orange, and if you cannot locate this, you can go ahead and substitute this with a little bit of lemon juice. Too easy. Of course, just a little bit of adobo. We're not going to go crazy with it. A little bit of salt and a little bit of black pepper. And now that we've got everything on it, all we're going to do is we're just going to work that into the meat. Now, ladies and gentlemen, all we have to do now is just let this meat sit there until it comes to room temperature. I'm going to let it rest there so it can marinate for probably about the next 2 to 3 hours, if not 4. All right, so that's the next step before we go ahead and put this in the oven. And yes, we're going to go ahead and put this in the oven, so stay tuned for that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now that they've marinated for about 3 or 4 hours, as you can see, I put them on a small rack on top of a flat pan that I'm going to put in the oven. And you want to make sure that when you put them on the rack, that they have a little bit of air in between them. That way air can circulate. Not air, but space in between them so that air can circulate. I got a digital thermometer, meat thermometer over here, that I set for 165 degrees. And I'm going to go ahead and take this. And this is an oven thermometer, which means that this portion of the wire can actually be inside the oven. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to put it in one of these. I just preheated my oven to about 200 degrees. I'm going to put this in the oven, and when it hits 165, I'm going to go ahead and turn it off, and then we'll go to our next step. Now what we're doing here is, more so than cooking it, we're trying to dry out the meat. We're trying to make sure that this meat, this pork belly, is as dry as it can be before we take our next step. Stick with me because you won't be disappointed in the end result. And it is done, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, this meat looks like it dried out a little bit. The interior temperature reached about 160, which is fine. What we're going to do now is we're going to let this cool down a little bit, enough so where I can handle it, and then we're going to go ahead and deep fry it. Now, you can use any oil you want to deep fry this. However, I recommend that you use a neutral oil, pretty much an oil that doesn't really have any flavor to it. Right? So we will see you here in a minute or two when this cools down enough so that I can cut into it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and cut these up. I'm not sure if you can hear that, but my stove is on. I've got the fire on, and I've got a pan with some oil in it. And we're going to cut them into about pieces like this. Now look. This is why this is so much nicer than just regular pork rinds. This is a nice chunk of meat. This is all meat right here. This is all meat. So this is going to come out nice and crispy and very tasty. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and place these in there. We're probably going to leave them in there to fry up for about 4 or 5 minutes. And then we'll be ready to take them out. So you're going to want to have a pan ready to take these out once they're done. Now look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Doesn't that look good? All we have to do now is put a little bit of salt. Give it a little shake. And go to town. Now, you know that I have to give this a little taste test and let you know what it tastes like. Now, I like eating this with just plain white rice because I get to taste the pork and it's not covered with anything. However, you can put a sauce on this if you like. You can put a little bit of lime juice. Lime juice is very popular with this. A little bit of salt and lime juice. Outstanding. A way that we really like to eat this in my culture is with some tostones, which are plantains that are deep fried as well. However, this here is an excellent treat. And I only made about half of it and left the other half in a bag so that we can use it tomorrow and make some more fresh. So let's go ahead and give this a try. This little piece looks just right. Look at that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I surely do hope that you try this because it is delicious. I am sure you will like it. And it wasn't that difficult to do. A little bit of time is involved because you have to put it in the oven for a few hours. Then all you have to do after that is just let it cool down a little bit, deep fry it, and this is delicious. All right, I hope you all try it. If you do, let me know how you like it. Thank you very much for joining in today, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you try this recipe and enjoy it as much as I do. Remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, so you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper. I am out.